How's it going, people? Welcome to this week's edition of the Locker Room right here on Top 6 Fan TV. And this one is a transfer window special. We're recapping the action from the January transfer window 2022. And it was definitely a roller coaster ride right there. I have Cossy, the man from Arsenal, and Jonah, the man from Anfield, the Liverpool man, to discuss with us, or basically recap the activity from the transfer window. And we will get right into it after this.
Oh, he's done it! Cometh now! Cometh the man! And it's that one, Young. It's 8 goals in his last 8 Premier League starts at Emirates Stadium. Salah! Wow! What a strike by Mohamed Salah!
Ball down the channel, and it's played into Fernandes in the penalty area. Oh,
Never know. Here's Harry Kane. Kane goes for what a goal from in business here. Lukaku scores on second debut. It's only taken 14 minutes.
Brilliant. And I will ask the gentleman in the house to just say a bit of a what's up, and we can get right into it, starting with Cossy.
Yeah, what's going on, lads? I'm happy to be back, Top 6 Fan TV. I think this is my second time here. Really happy, especially speaking about transfers. I love it, despite that I was really disappointed.
Yeah, Cossy right there. Of course, viewers, if you're just, if you're seeing for the first time, feel free to head down to his channel, Cossy's Arsenal podcast. He has the latest going about Arsenal drama going on, and he was, quite up to date with the latest transfer speculation coming in. So feel free to get down to his channel, subscribe, hit the like on his channel, and you will be able to catch up with his content. And Jonah, you can say what's up.
What's up, guys? Jonah here again. I don't know if it's my third time, fourth time, maybe second time. I'm not sure, but it's been a while. And I'm happy to be back. Brilliant.
Great to have you. Glad to see that the power generation company is not doing you bad tonight. Yeah. But, great to have you on. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, welcome to the show. We are at the beginning. Feel free to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, hit everything on that window, and you will enjoy our content. And we're excited to have you along. And let's get right into it, gentlemen. We had a very interesting transfer window. I will be rushing through the most notable signings for the big clubs. We did notice that at the end of the transfer window, some clubs didn't even have to make any signings, like the Manchester clubs, Manchester United and Manchester City. Chelsea didn't actually make any signings as well, no incomings for them, and we will focus mostly on the incomings. But somewhere in North London, there was quite a bit of drama, and we will get right into it. But quickly running through those the notable ins and outs of the major clubs in the English Premier League. Arsenal did have 3 signings. That I'm sure a lot of Arsenal fans do not want to even talk about or hear about. But I'll start with the one. A number of them are actually, a couple of them from the States. Maybe this is why Mikel Arteta started the break by going to the States. We don't know. But the first one, interestingly, is a defender, should be a wing back called Austin Trusty. How interesting. Trust the process. Then you had a young man, Lino Sousa from West Brom Albion, and then American keeper as well, Matt Turner, who will be an understudy to Ramsdale. All these guys joining in the summer. So literally no players joining now for the January transfer window. And the notable exits from the Arsenal, we had quite a bit of deadwood getting up, which a lot of Arsenal fans are excited about. I will say Ainsley Maitland-Niles moving on to Roma, Folarin Balogun on loan to Middlesbrough, Maitland-Niles as well on loan. Sead Kolasinac mutual consent termination of the agreement released. That's to Marseille. Then you had Pablo Mari going on loan to Udinese. Then you had Callum Chambers leaving on a free to Aston Villa. And then the one and only Mr. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang moving to Barcelona on a free. And we will get into those details. A lot of fans grumpy that he was released without us having a replacement. That's the Arsenal. For Aston Villa, we did see Philippe Coutinho come in. Philippe Coutinho coming in on loan for Barcelona. Luca Dean coming in from Everton for £25 million. And then Robin Olsen coming in from Roma on loan. And as we mentioned, Callum Chambers. I'm not going to their exits. I think one notable exit from the Mark Target moving to Newcastle on loan. Brentford, only in the news, I would say, for their audacious swoop for Christian Eriksen on a 6-month loan deal. So he joins them in a fantastic deal for him. I think everyone is going to be excited to see him back on the pitch after the horrible scenes at the Euros last year when he collapsed with a heart issue. So it would be great to have him in. And then you would say Burnley had a notable in after selling Chris Wood, their striker, to Newcastle for £25 million. The imposing Wout Weghorst, over 6'5", Bali striker, and they're coming in from Wolfsburg for £12 million. Will be interesting to see how he helps them stay up. Chelsea did actually have a few academy ins. Travis Akomia from Watford, Dylan Williams from Derby County, all going into the under-21 squad. Skipping them and moving on to Everton, they had some activity. Of course, their first signing of the summer was Frank Lampard after they had sacked Rafa Benitez from the job. They're never working out for him on the blue side of Merseyside. But Everton bringing in Anwar El Ghazi from Aston Villa on loan, Donny van de Beek from Manchester United on loan, Dele Alli from Tottenham on loan, and Nathan Peterson from Rangers, in a permanent deal, undisclosed, and Vitaly Mikolenko from Dynamo Kiev. So those players coming in and being able to boost Frank Lampard. We'll see if that will be able to steady the ship for them. Leeds had Mateo Fernandes come in from Espanyol, was their only signing, and no major exits from them. Leicester City, no inbound signings and no major ones coming out. Liverpool secured the coup, one of the coups of the transfer window, bringing in hotshot, highly rated Porto's Luis Diaz for £37.5 million after he was being pursued quite keenly by Spurs. Manchester City signing, I didn't mention they didn't bring anyone in for this month, but they did manage to get a signing who will be joining in the summer, and he is tipped to be the finally replacement for Sergio Aguero, coming in from Argentina as well. Julian Alvarez from River Plate for £14 million. And there we go, fantastic one. Notable exit from Manchester City amongst the academy exits that are there. I think there's only one there. Ferran Torres coming in for £55 million from Barcelona. Amazing how they managed to get that much money in. Manchester United, absolutely no inbound players. And, of course, I did mention Donny van de Beek heading out to Everton, but it was also the end for Anthony Martial moving to Sevilla on loan. And amongst the kids that did go out, two notable names, young wing wizard Amad Diallo heading to Rangers on loan, and Axel Tuanzebe going on another loan, this time to Napoli. Newcastle, then, of course, who set the transfer window by storm, spending over £90 million. I believe they were the highest spenders in this transfer window in Europe, I believe. Bringing in Kieran Trippier from Atletico Madrid for £12 million. I didn't make a reference to Chris Wood from Burnley for £25 million. Bruno Guimaraes, who was, hotly chased by the Arsenal. I see Cossy smiling there, coming in for £35 million. Newcastle did also add some salt to the wounds by basically taunting Arsenal in the welcome video for Bruno Guimaraes. Matt Target from Aston Villa, as I mentioned, and then Dan Burn, defender coming in from Brighton. And then Spurs, after several attempts to sign a number of players, and we will go into that, only able to bring in Rodrigo Betancourt and Dejan Kulusevski from Juventus. West Ham, no major incomings. Callum Marshall, who will be joining them from Linfield, but that is more or less an academy player. And Wolverhampton bringing in a couple of players, actually. Considering they're in the hand for the top four, I will give them honorable mention. A number of players with very interesting names. I think this is from Japan. Hayao Kawabe from Grasshoppers, Chiquinho from Estoril, Huang Hee-chan, who has been there on loan, finally being signed on a permanent deal from RB Leipzig after a successful loan spell, and another South Korean, Jung Sang-bin, coming in from Suwon Samsung Blue Wings. Undisclosed. I feel like a karate school dojo teacher singing out names for my students, but it is what it is, as Mikel Arteta says. And that does round up, ladies and gentlemen, what were the major signings and incomings from the English Premier League. And it was actually quite the interesting one. But let's kick it off with our activity from the Arsenal, and discuss what outcomings, what the results were from that activity. And I'll kick it off with all the noise that was around the one and only Dusan Vlahovic. Ladies and gentlemen, it was quite something. The activity starting with a hot pursuit of this man Bruno Guimaraes, and then going quiet, and then turning into a hostile pursuit of Dusan Vlahovic. I do joke around that we had daily Dusan updates, not only from the major news streams, but even from our very own Cossy on his Cossy Arsenal podcast. Cossy, what was your view of the Arsenal transfer window? Of course, missing out on Bruno Guimaraes, Newcastle pipping Arsenal for him, and then we also lost out the Arsenal on that man there, Dusan Vlahovic, eventually going to Juventus, which most Arsenal fans would have recovered from if we had maintained a decent striking department. But alas, that man right there also left the Arsenal and went on to Barcelona, which leaves us, the Arsenal, with two outfield strikers, recognized strikers, because Folarin Balogun also, remember, went out on loan. And you have two strikers who actually don't have renewed contracts and are leaving the club in the summer, and between them have scored 2 goals since the start of the season, Lacazette and Eddie Nketiah. Cossy, your thoughts on Arsenal?
I think, like many Arsenal fans, the way they feel is how I feel. I think what hurts so much in football is hope. The hope. I mean, even when you lose a game, it's the hope that you are gonna win it, and when you don't win it, that is what really hurts. I think coming into this window, we had come back from a very, very good month in December. We had won 4 games out of 6. Yes, we had lost our first 2 games in December, but then we did so well, beating the likes of Southampton, West Ham, Leeds, and Norwich very, very convincingly, scoring a couple of goals actually in that month. And then it just felt like, I think this is what Arsenal fans felt. This is our chance to get back to Europe. This is our chance to get to 4. We just need to make our side stronger, because if for Arsenal, our problems are really visible. It's the midfield. You just need someone who plays alongside Thomas Partey, well. And we sang it right from December that January Partey was not going to be available. Mohamed Elneny as well. Now's going out on loan. It was a shocker for me. I did expect that, but then going out, it was like it was more like an announcement that we're going to do signings. And Mikel, after the Burnley game, he was asked about signings. Actually, even before the Burnley game, he was asked about signings. And then he said, look, we are trying to do, we're trying to do whatever is possible to bring in a few reinforcements because we are short of, of numbers. That is what he said. So any Arsenal fan out there, I think one of my best streams in January were about Mikel Arteta speaking about new signings, and then he said, "Yeah, we're gonna do some business. We're gonna bring in some reinforcements." And I was so surprised that there was no one. Honestly, it was a shambles. If I'm going to rank Arsenal out of the 20 teams, yes, many clubs did bring in anyone. I think we could be in position around 18. I think we're only above Manchester United because I think United, they needed a midfield, and we'll talk about that, and maybe Burnley as well. But Arsenal, this was a chance to get to top 4, and all we needed was because we only scored 1 goal in the games we played in January, so it was visible enough. Getting a striker, getting a prolific striker, or at least someone on loan. I do understand the concerns of the budget, and many people will say, "Oh, look, January the budget is not that is not at times available or flexible." But players like Luka Jovic were available, and for me, Luka Jovic is far better in terms of finishing, far better than Edin Nketiah. If you have Luka Jovic and Alexander Lacazette, it's far better than having Lacazette and Edin Nketiah. That is what I thought initially. The talk of Dusan Vlahovic, yes, I was interested, and I was really, really excited. There was a lot of euphoria around it. But then I was like, maybe the budget, maybe this one could be hindered by the budget. But players like Luka Jovic, loan deals, players whose contracts are running down in the summer. I thought that is what we're going to do. And honestly, don't blame me when I say it's a shambles. Look at the midfield. How many midfielders were really available? It was reported by Romano that Guimaraes deal is very difficult unless it is 45 million. They signed him for less than 40 mil. And for me, I don't want to believe many people who come out and say Bruno Guimaraes was not Arsenal's number 1 priority. Yes, he might not have been our priority, but the fact that he was available in January, we had to do that deal. It was an easy deal to do, very easy. Lyon selling in January, they had not sold a player for the past 2 summers. They have not brought in some good money. And it was easy to see whenever an opportunity came in, they were going to sell. It's one of those windows where I've seen Lyon very, very compliant when it comes to selling their players. They're very difficult to negotiate with. They're very, very difficult to talk to in terms of, getting their players out of their team. But this time they were so easy. Newcastle, the moment they launched that bid, there were no second thoughts. Talks, I think talks went on for around 24 hours with Jean-Michel Aulas, and then it was done. But away from that, look at the likes of Denis Zakaria, 6 million euros. Personally, I said, if Arsenal can't get someone for 20, 50, 20, 30 million or 50, go for Denis Zakaria, 6 million euros, could just bring in that kind of, because we need the numbers in terms of squad depth. We need players around, and he's the quality player. Just imagine, Juve got him for 6 million euros, signed a new contract, and the lad now is worth 35 million euros. Can you believe that? If they decided to sell him right now, they make a crazy profit of 30 million. And I don't care about the profit. I care about the quality, the extra quality in the side. Xhaka is making mistakes, day in, day out. What if it's the final day of the season, and then he makes that mistake, he made against Liverpool, on Jota? What if he does that? Because he's capable, and he's done that all his life at Arsenal. So for me, it's a shambles. It was a really, it was a big shambles. We weakened the side that is dreaming of top 4, and we in no way, shape, or form did we try to strengthen to strengthen. It was a shambles. I don't have any other ways to describe it. Aubameyang is out. Aubameyang has scored 4 goals for us in the Premier League this season. Scored more goals than Alexander Lacazette.
And Edin Nketiah combined.
That shows you. So Aubameyang has gone to Barca, and for me, trust me, he will score goals in Barca. And the reasons, actually, because I wanted to know what exactly happened. Aubameyang actually said it, in his interview after signing for Barca, and he said the reason I'm out is because of Mikel Arteta. There's no other reason. Mikel Arteta was not happy with me, and that's it. So I had to leave. I had to quit. But for me, lads,
I can hear your frustration, Cossy, and I commiserate with you as a fellow gunner. My man Jonah is enjoying all the drama because whilst we were on daily Dusan and bi-weekly Guimaraes and bi-monthly Zakaria, Liverpool showed the kind of news that we are looking for, the kind of speed, the kind of aggression that we have come to desire as Arsenal fans in the transfer window. By just hearing Daniel Levy whispering, the name of a certain Porto winger, and boom, the guys went in, put the money on the table, and within a week and a half, the deal was done. Jonah, how would you compare the two transfer windows? Because do you first of all, before touching on Liverpool, do you agree with Cossy's evaluation of Arsenal's Arsenal's position? Some Arsenal fans out there, the accountants, I believe, keep saying, "Oh, we have saved 25 million on Aubameyang's salary, and that's going to help us out." And we have let go of a lot of deadwood and saved even more money on the salary. So I don't know, and maybe some of the other more favorable fans to Arteta keep saying, "Oh, but we tried to get Guimaraes. Oh, but we tried even harder to get Dusan and we failed. So now this is what we have. And by the way, we don't even have any cup games. So we're going to be playing one game every 2 weeks. We needed to change the squad." So I don't know which side of the fence you sit on, but feel free to give your remarks on that.
When Cossy started talking, I was even just shaking my head. I was against, I was disagreeing at Kabisa, because if I compare our two American owners, I think you guys get a lot of support in terms of signings. Like in the past summer window, you guys signed more players than any other team. Mathew, you just mentioned that in this January window, Newcastle has spent the most, but in the summer it was you guys. So I would understand why your owners were a bit hesitant to sign in this window, and that's why I want to disagree with Cossy. But then later on, he kept going, and I'm like, okay, I can see where you're coming from, and now I started agreeing with him that you can't just sell players in key positions, especially knowing things like AFCON is coming, like the winter period is coming where injuries pile up and things like that, and even different cup games are coming around, and people are going to get injured in those key positions, and you go and sell players or lose players to AFCON without trying to replace. It's a bit wrong to do it like that. Then there's even my personal opinion is Arteta is a very emotional human being. Very emotional human being. Small things we talked about on the group. What Lukaku did at Chelsea, if he had done it at Arsenal to Arteta, he would be gone.
Gone.
Aubameyang himself came and said that, mistakes were made. He said, but my problem is with Arteta, a single person. We have seen players, we have all watched football for very long, and we have seen players leave clubs and say, in the back end and da-da-da-da. But it's very rare that a player mentions one person and says, my problem was with this one person.
Was with the guy,
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm not as deep into Arsenal as you guys, so there's the Edu situation and things like that. But at least from my outside opinion, I can see Arteta has a certain toxicity about him, and I don't know what you guys think about his longevity in the side.
No, I for me, just before Cossy comes in, I think for me that was the worst possible thing. And a lot of people are playing it down. Some Arsenal fans say, of course he's going to say that, he's leaving, sour grapes and whatnot. But under the current situation, let's say if Arsenal had even brought in a Luka Jovic, as Cossy mentioned, and we were managing to make do, that statement would not hold water. But the fact that we have not managed to bring in a striker to replace that gap, and he has name dropped. He's just dropped Arteta's name out there. It doesn't help the uncertainty around surrounding Arteta right now, because even the most optimistic Arsenal fans or Arteta fans are looking to, let's see how the season ends and then we'll decide from there. He's getting us somewhere. We can see what he's trying to do, but we are not yet convinced. Now, with the shambolic handling of the transfer window, and yes, we will also apportion a huge amount of blame to Mr. Edu, who was just posting cigars throughout the transfer window. We don't even know if he even woke up throughout the transfer window. The guy has, two times in a year when we actually really need him. The rest of the times he's just watching matches every weekend and doing a bit of scouting on the internet. And this transfer window, the guy, as usual, he was just nowhere to be seen. Nowhere to be seen. So he also has to take some blame. And if Arteta does need to head out of that door at the end of the season, Edu Gaspar, no doubt, should be as part of his hand luggage. Really, to put it nicely. But Cossy, just to put you in on that point that Jonah raised, what's your reaction to that before we move on to Liverpool?
I honestly, I think with Mikel Arteta, man management honestly is something that is a point of concern. If you look at players like William Saliba, frustrated before they've even played for Arsenal, Matteo Guendouzi, in that season when Arteta came in, there is no doubt. Guendouzi was one of our best players, and we know the quality he has as a young man, but it's man management, and he's not improving at any point in time. I wonder how players like Granit Xhaka have got to the softer side of him. I really wonder, but he needs to work on it. Look, if we don't get top four because of goals, and we've given away Aubameyang, and struggling Barcelona get top four because of Aubameyang's goals, it's really explainable. On the longevity in the side, I think it's gonna be here. I think it's here to stay. I don't think really Kroenke cares who is managing Arsenal unless he's taking us deep. Is gonna stay here. But it's a huge question. And one thing I want to say to Jonah, I think our owners have woken up in terms of spending. Yeah, they've woken up. Last summer, they did very well in terms of giving us the structure. But what we are doing, Liverpool has done a couple of years ago. The success of we are seeing at Liverpool is coming from that kind of consistency and structure in terms of recruitment, in terms of players on the pitch, and the consistency they have. You guys have already done it, and that's why you see that every season you're buying one player or two. You bring in Jota, then you don't bring in anyone, or you bring in Luis Diaz, and then you bring in Carvalho on loan. Then you loan him back. It's because you built the structure. Arsenal, for the past, if you look at our recruitment in the past 20 years, it's been a shambles. It's been a very, very, very big shambles. We've been bringing in players like, can you imagine Mohamed Elneny is in this Arsenal side. Callum Chambers has been here. Cedric, Pablo Mari. I mean, if you look back for the last 5 years, Liverpool doesn't have players like that. Just look at Liverpool side. Just look at City side. They don't have players like Chambers, players like Kolasinac, because they're coming in on a free. I think we are trying to go where Liverpool are, but our owners, we all have very, very poor owners. Your owners are not that good, but they're better than ours. They have woken up and they have realized, we need to do this, now. And I just feel like, Liverpool are in a better position. You already have the structure, just need to fit in those, pigments of quality, and you'll be good to go.
Yeah, I think let's bring all things Arsenal to an end, because we could talk about Arsenal until the cocks crow in the morning. And let's move on to this man, Luis Diaz. Mr. Jonah must be excited there. This man coming into Anfield, hot prospect. I've seen some of his goals in the Champions League and also in the Portuguese league. And, fantastic guy. I'd compare him to a very young and aggressive Philippe Coutinho. I don't know, Jonah, what your thoughts are on how he fits into your attacking quartet. But what are your thoughts around this guy and what he's going to do for you guys?
You brought in a very interesting analogy there, comparing him to Coutinho. I compare him to a very young Sadio Mane, a Southampton Sadio Mane. But it's funny that you bring up a young Philippe Coutinho, because there's another player, but maybe we'll talk about that a bit later, who we were chasing, and we almost got at the end of the transfer window, but paperwork wasn't concluded.
Who's that?
Cavallo, the Fulham guy.
Shaka.
Cavallo, the Fulham youngster from Fulham, Portuguese.
Granit Xhaka.
No.
I'm pulling your leg. Surely it was not Granit Xhaka. Yes, the Fulham kid. Yes, I heard about him. Wonder down there.
Fabio Cavallo.
Yes.
Yeah, I think he's more of a Coutinho. But back to Diaz, it's funny, when we were playing Porto this season, and we always do well against Porto, but when we were playing them this season, that guy made me stressed. Like, we were playing, the guy was stretching Trent the whole game. I think another game Milner played, and he stretched him the whole game. Although he won both games comfortably, I was like, who is this guy? Then, as in with Ed Woodward, sorry, not Ed Woodward. What's our guy called? Our sporting director. The name was
Edwards.
Michael Edwards.
Yeah.
Michael Edwards.
With Michael Edwards, every transfer window, you never know his business until it's done. You never hear rumors until it's done. Now, the story goes with this guy is that we're supposed to get him in the summer. But when Spurs showed interest, I think the Porto guys told us, hey, you better make a decision now, or he's going. So we had to move a bit fast. But yeah, with Michael Edwards, things always move very, very fast. So as a football fan here in Uganda, it's a bit frustrating when you're not in any conversation for any transfers. But somehow, we always pull through and pull players. And I think this guy in particular is going to bring the best out of Sadio Mane. You've been seeing Sadio Mane in the AFCON, how he has done well. I think when the pressure is there, Sadio will show what he is. And with this competition, he will.
So who do you see dropping out of that quartet of attackers? My money is on Roberto Firmino being phased out gradually.
Well, Firmino was already being phased out by Jota. Like, already the starting three was Jota, Sadio, and Salah. But with Diaz coming in, I think it's going to be Sadio that's going to be pulling out slowly. But I also believe in Sadio so much that he will pull his weight, and it will be a healthy competition.
Yeah. Or could Klopp actually revert to a front four attacking like he did in the final season? Coutinho was there. You remember that?
Yes.
When Coutinho was out for a lengthy injury, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is the time either Mane or Firmino came in, and then there were songs about now it's a front three. Will Coutinho come in? And then, Coutinho came in like at the midway point of the season. And then came back and exactly. So it became the Fab Four. And of course, Coutinho was sold in the summer after a strong interest from Barcelona. But he did manage to sort of fit the four attackers into his system with one person dropping out of midfield there. So do you see the same adaptation being made for Luis Diaz?
I mean, it's possible, because even after Coutinho left, when Shaqiri came in, there was a good period of time when I think it was probably the 2019-2020 season, when Shaqiri had very good moments, and he forced his way into the team. So we had to play a diamond, and then it would be exchanged between either Firmino comes at the top of the diamond and Shaqiri joins the front three, or Shaqiri stays at the front of the diamond and then Firmino stays in the front three, but they would rotate. But I think it was Mourinho who said it. He said, good players will find a way to play together. So I never worry about having too many good players. I think they will find a way to play together. I only worry about players with terrible attitudes and coaches that don't know how to manage those kinds of players.
Looks like we have both at Arsenal, so it's a concern when you see Cossy's blood pressure going up like it has for the last couple of weeks, mine as well. Then you really commiserate for the Gunners. But I'd like to draw Cossy into the other signings from some of the other clubs that could start to pile a bit of pressure at mid-table and up to the fourth place. Everton first of all, bring in these two lads, lone misfits from Dele Alli from Spurs, and this gentleman right here, whose name has eluded me. Just remind me. Donny van der Bench, as they were calling him at Manchester United, because he warmed the bench quite a bit. Hoping that Lampard is going to change the fortunes of Everton with these two guys. Cossy, do you see these two guys coming in to lift the spirits of Everton? And then also finally, Aston Villa bring in a couple of signings as well, to strengthen their team, most notably Luca Dean and Coutinho, who actually teamed up for an assist, goal and assist in their last game. So already the spirit's being lifted right there. What do you think, Cossy, about Aston Villa and Everton signing? And then after that, I will finally indulge Jonah into how he thinks the top four will actually end this season in light of the transfer activity. But first of all, you, Cossy.
Yeah,
Aston Villa and Everton.
Yeah.
Oh, and Spurs, because please talk about Spurs. Yeah.
All right. So I think when in that debate for me of who won the transfer window, if anyone is going to do an episode of who won the transfer window, it's between two clubs. It's between Aston Villa and Newcastle. They've been, but for me, Villa, I do give them lots of credit in this January transfer window because look, their side is quality, and they were just quality. They just had that kind of quality. But if you look at how they've moved in this window, it's so ambitious. Actually, it reminds me of the words of Callum Chambers when he signed for them. He said, what is going on at Villa? The project that they're doing is visible on the outside. When you're outside, you can easily see what they're doing there. But Lucas Digne, what a signing. Look, we might think about Guimaraes, we might think about Trippier, we might think about Coutinho, but eventually, look, for me, my signing of this window was Lucas Digne. Look, you might not say Everton are direct rivals to Aston Villa at the moment because Everton are in that relegation battle. They're fighting not to go down. But at some point in time, this season or next season, they will be direct rivals. And you can imagine they have sold Lucas Digne. They've sold one of the best centre backs in the league to Aston Villa. And Villa moving for if you look at the way they are acting, going for Lucas Digne, going for Philippe Coutinho, it only shows you that they're not really thinking about top 10. They might be thinking about, because there is this kind of extension to Europe in the UEFA Conference League and Europa League. They're thinking of regularly being members, or in Europe, regularly going to the UEFA Conference League, and and I think there will be West Ham. Yeah, so they've really, really done well. They've really, really done well. And I think Steven Gerrard will feel backed, and he deserves to be backed, really. Ever since he came in, he's really done a brilliant job. He's really, really done a good job in terms of, organizing the players, because I think they were suffering for that kind of disorder ever since Jack Grealish went away. He organized them, and backing him with Lucas Digne, backing him with Philippe Coutinho, a side that has signed Emi Buendia and Leon Bailey in the summer, adding Digne and Coutinho. For me, they've really, really done well. Aston Villa, Everton. I think I don't know how Lampard is really going to do that, because it's really interesting to see what he's gonna do. But one thing they needed for me was numbers. They've suffered from injuries and Benitez. I think it really, really affected him. So they've lost Lucas Digne, which I think was a mistake. When you're surviving, when you're fighting to survive, you need all the resources you can have. You need all your best players. You need everyone on board. They lost Lucas Digne. He was there, jewel in the crown, and somehow they lost their best player for me. I mean, Demarai Gray has been doing very well for them, and Andre Stone said, with the likes of Decore, but Digne was giving that kind of creativity, in the wider positions, and they just lost him.
Although he, to be honest, Cossy, he fell out with Rafa Benitez and was not playing for the last,
yeah, that's true. And losing Lucas Digne and then sacking Rafa Benitez, it doesn't make sense. I mean, like if you fell out with the manager, are you keeping the manager? No, you're not keeping the manager, but then keep the player because you definitely need him. Look, if Lampard found Digne there, it would have been a very, very great starting point. But anyway, like I said, they need numbers. They need players around. They need players that are fit. I think the injury of Dominic Calvert-Lewin really affected them so much this season. And also, Doucouré has been, he's been that key player in that midfield. But the fact that whenever he plays 2 good games, then he gets injured, then he gets back. They just need players that are fit enough to play around 10 games, in a row. Donny van der Beek.
Yes. Do you believe those 2 players are going to sort out that midfield conundrum, Van der Beek and Dele Alli?
I think Van der Beek is a very good signing. Van der Beek is a very, very good signing because we know he can play in that pivot with Alan or Doucouré, or he can play just in front of them as a 10. And then Dele Alli, for me, when I look at him, he reminds me of Mason Mount under Frank Lampard, because that is what Lampard just loves those kinds of players. And I was not really surprised when he went for Dele Alli. I think it's about surviving relegation. They will survive relegation with those players, but it's not the kind of quality, especially Donny van der Beek is on loan. So look, I don't think Ali is that kind of quality that's going to keep them, competing for top 6. He's not. I think,
but he'll definitely keep them up.
Yeah, they will definitely keep them up. Then Spurs.
Fantastic. Yes, Spurs. Give me your last views on Spurs. We need to wrap it up and move to Jonah.
Yeah, Spurs. Yeah, they brought in Kulusevski. They brought in Bentancur.
Yes.
Yeah. Bentancur is a good signing, very, very good signing. I think he's one that has lots to offer than Ndombele and Giovanni Lo Celso. But with Dejan Kulusevski, maybe look, it's gonna give them that kind of flexibility, especially the likes of Son, and Hurricane and how they use them. So I do understand. But for me, my focus is on Rodrigo Bentancur. They've really not done very well. I think the priorities of the manager were Luis Diaz, which Liverpool actually decided to go for, and Adama Traore, who went to Barcelona eventually. But I think those 2 can help them keep around the top 4 and see what happens. I mean, it's going to be one that is decided by the end of the season anyway. I think in terms of numbers, but in terms of quality, Bentancur good, Kulusevski, we will need to see. It's a good player, and Arsenal were linked with him, but we will need to see what he can really offer. But not a bad window, not really a bad window.
Okay, so finally, how do you think the top 4 is ending? Please, from position 1 to 4th. How do you think it's actually from position 1 to 6th? Just Cossy, give me yours before we move into Jonah's final assessment. Number 1, we all have a good hand.
Yeah, it's gonna be City. I think they will take it. Unless otherwise, Liverpool, Chelsea.
Liverpool, number 2, Chelsea third.
Yeah, 3 Chelsea.
4th,
I think for top 4, I will close my eyes and go for Tottenham Hotspur.
Tottenham Hotspur. Okay, very interesting.
Yeah, very, very interesting. 5, I'll go with Manchester United and Arsenal in 6.
Okay, fantastic. Jonah, your winners of the transfer window and why, and then we'll move into that ranking. Rather, your thoughts on who on the top 6.
Yeah, my winners of the transfer window is Aston Villa. Aston Villa on so many levels. I'm going to count the transfer window as anything that happened after the summer window. So that includes getting Steven Gerrard. Getting Steven Gerrard was the biggest win for Aston Villa. If you look at what's happening at Rangers right now, you realize that those guys were only winning because of him. And Aston Villa, even before the window, were already showing change with Gerrard. Anyone that plays them, and we played them as well. I don't think, have you guys played them?
No, we haven't yet played. We played them. No, we played them before when they were under Dean Smith. Yeah,
we have played them. United played them in the cup and then in the league. City has played them, and none of those games has been easy at all. So, like what Gerrard has done, anyone will tell you, yeah. So for me, that alone, Gerrard, then getting Coutinho, getting Lucas Digne, like Cossy said, getting Chambers as well.
Yeah.
Very experienced player. I would say they're the winners. Because
brilliant.
I think I read an article saying the owners of Aston Villa are going to back Gerrard in the summer as well.
Yeah.
So these are guys who are going places. Like Everton, I wouldn't put them on the same place. Those guys still have problems. I don't see Lampard doing very well there. Yeah, I would say that.
Newcastle,
I mean,
highest spenders. Will it be enough? Let me put it this way. Will it be enough to keep Newcastle up? The amount they've spent on the players.
It's hard to tell. But if you're just looking at who they're competing with, Burnley is definitely going down. Watford, I think, is also definitely going down. Norwich, unpredictable. So it's in between Newcastle and Norwich surviving, right? And even Everton could go down. So, yeah, definitely I would think with the investment Newcastle has done, they will probably survive. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for that assessment. And finally, your predictions on how the top 6 is going to look like at the end of the table in the English Premier League. Number 1, no doubt, Liverpool.
Number 1, 100%. 100%.
Let me not laugh. Let me not laugh because my beginning of season prediction was precisely that. I said Liverpool, if they can weather the January storm, will finish first.
Never write off Liverpool. Anyone who has watched football, there's always that fear in you guys, opposition fans. There's always that small thing that you know that Liverpool, at any one moment, we can do something.
That's in the UCL. That's in the UCL. In the UCL, if Liverpool are trailing by, you never said never. But in the Premier League, you struggle as well.
Yeah, Pep is something else, and we all respect that man. And to be honest, the thing seems
can't wait
gone.
for him to leave.
To be realistic, yes, it seems gone, but I'm going to believe that we are still going to take it. From the beginning, I thought we would take it. I would say City second. Then I'm still thinking Chelsea are finishing third. Fourth is where it gets tricky. I'm going to say Spurs. I think Antonio Conte is a very strong coach, and I can see him pushing them. And considering the problems with the other clubs, I think West Ham got very excited early on and got happy with where they were. They know they'll probably finish in and around near the top 4. So I would say Spurs fourth. Fifth, I would say Arsenal. Then sixth, I would say West Ham. Yeah, United is not finishing in top 6.
Wow, that's very interesting. United fans will have something to say about that. Coming from a Liverpool fan.
I hope Nate watches because I'm not seeing those guys even doing top 7. They're probably going to be 8th.
Yeah, man, you've probably made Manzi's afro grow taller than Uganda House with that statement. But we'll wait and see what happens. But, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the show for this week. Thank you, Cossy, for joining. Thank you, Jonah. Of course, if you joined our channel right now, feel free to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification button. I did mention earlier that Cossy as well has his own channel. Cossy is Arsenal Podcast, fully Arsenal content. So feel free to go down there and, subscribe to his channel as well. Enjoy his content. But that's it for this week, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we will be back next week. It's going to be a lonely rest of the season for Arsenal. We play like once every 2 weeks, and we have ball boys for strikers as well. But we'll try to see what we can do for the rest of the season. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a great rest of the week.